And they went out and they started looking for who the gatekeepers were, and from help from JSI, my organization. We already had some gatekeepers, and we started working with them. And we wanted to know about the traditional and culturally familiar practices used by Latinas for family planning and reproductive health. And then also, we wanted to find out how we were going to integrate these needs in the clinical practice, and then also increase trust. And this was something that needed to, it was one of the biggest efforts that we needed to do besides JSI being there. There has been other problems within the community. Different groups were coming in. Even there were problems with the mayor in the city that, they felt discriminated by the mayor of the city. So they were not too keen into, one more group coming in asking us questions, don't you know enough? So we did focus groups to find out really, how women felt about and what they were using for reproductive health and family planning. And then we did focus group with 36 women. And then 11 of them were 18 to 25 years of age. 3 were in the bracket of 25 to 35 years. 22 were over the age of 35. And then 90% have lived in the US more than 5 years. Spanish was the primary language of 26, and 90% had some high school or higher education. This is what we found. Many women were not well informed about the reproductive system, and I'm sure that you also have found that they didn't know about their menstrual cycle. They didn't know when they could actually get pregnant. And then also, when we were talking about issues of negotiating and power issues, out of the 36 women, and you saw in there that some of them, they were pretty well educated, high school and college. Only one of them said that could have the power to negotiate with her partner. So that was amazing for us to find out. And the population were mainly from the Dominican Republic, some Puerto Ricans, and then they use a lot of herbal, not potions, but things to wash themselves. They bring soap from soaps that they buy in what is called the botanicas. And so when we were doing the focus group, we were finding so many different myths and misinformation that we decided that we needed to come back and really educate the women. And I think that one thing that we have been learning about when we have been doing focus groups, that perhaps if you're able to, and then perhaps this is not well taken by the research community, but perhaps that's the only time where you're going to have those women in there. So once you have found out that there's a lot of myth and misinformation, perhaps you should be prepared that after the focus group you have a conversation and misspell the misinformation and the myth, because probably that is going to be the only time that you're going to have them in the room. And that's how we have been doing more focus groups now. And so we did that. We went back and for example, all this washing that have been going on, they will do it after their period or after they had a baby. And so then we educated them that was actually destroying the whole culture of their, and then I'm going to talk about the body part, of their vagina, and that they needed to keep that culture the way it was, because then it was more sensitive for infections and also for contracting HIV/AIDS and some other sexually transmitted diseases. They didn't know that, and then they were very grateful and amenable to also pass along the information to the other women in the community. And then As I said before, they also use many traditional and culturally familiar products for family planning, reproductive health. And one thing that we found out is that they didn't want to use a method that was either invasive or hormonal, because they didn't really want to touch themselves down there. And so it makes it very difficult to find an appropriate method. And so one of the things that we have been doing lately is that with the Institute for Reproductive Health at Georgetown, we are doing research about the standard day method, which is the cycle beads that they keep track and move the little red ring around, every day. Let's see how it's going to go, because the piece that is missing is the education for the partners. And as I said before, out of that big group, 36, only one was able to negotiate. I don't know how this new method is going to be able to be integrated and received in the community. So lesson learned for us is, we need to really educate the partners also. So what has health quarters learned then from this process is that you always need to go and report back to the community. The people that you engage as much as possible, bring them back or educate them while they're there. Build on the values of the culture. We needed to be very careful about, there were some colleagues, even at JSI, that they had a good laugh when we said, we are researching the cycle beads. It's like, that doesn't work, and, it's not scientific, it's not medical, and all of that. I said, it's what the community wants. So, they respect that. Validating the strength of the community. There are many women that want to be the health educators. Why not train them, and value what is already there? Fostering mutual respect. I think that is has been one of the big lessons learned for health quarters itself. They have hired Latinas to work with the Latino community, but I think that the next step is not that everybody within the organization needs to know how to work with the community, not just these two people that represent the agency. And then reaching out to people in familiar community settings. We found that, going to the bodegas, the botanicas, where people really are, that we were able to find them there to do focus groups, but also to be able to have them communicate messages from us to the community.